Got to learn how to play better. How are we going to do that? We're going to talk about that and a few other topics next on What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. Welcome back to the McGolf Shop. This is What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. Why is it What's in My Drawers? Because it's over here this time. It was the things that were What's in My Drawers that we got to talk about. And why is that? Because old golf club makers and club fitters are tremendous pack rats, and I'm no different. So, what are we talking about? Well, we're talking about golf club repairs, golf club reviews, golf club fittings, and in this particular case, what's it going to take to get better, and a few other topics along the way. So, let's get started. Just like anything, we talk about just some of the items. I didn't know if I got to show you last time around, but this was Nick from New Jersey. He got to visit. We went through a fitting. It was quite the fun time. I know we talked about it. I just didn't get to show you the picture. All righty, and here's another. This was another emergency make, and these were a set of Titleists. They were 200 at the top, and then the rest of them were 150s. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Of course, they have the BB&F ferrules on them, and the matching Golf Pride MCC4s. And if you look, he's also figured out how to get the dynamic golds in the same color scheme. So not too bad at all. Then we have another set here that went out, a set of Mizunos with a Wilson hybrid. We also have a CB wedge from Callaway. That thing is actually quite energetic, by the way. And we did a set going to California, which was a trim and cut, and we're going to talk about that one here in just a minute. And finally, Peter from on here got his clubs, and that's what those are. Some Srixons with, there's the Srixon, that's a little bit better, ZX5s with the red and black, we'll call it red and black. And also, let's see if we can show you another one. We showed you that one, showed you that one, showed you that one. With the Axiom shafts, we put the Axiom shafts in there. That was quite the discovery on which ones and how they worked. It was kind of neat. All right, so that's what we got. And so we're going to go through there. We're going to talk about this set again. And those are some MMTs. Now, here's how this works. This golfer calls me and says, hey, I need you to pull out some MMTs and put in some other ones. All right, no problem. Typically, it's a weight or a flex issue, and that's not a problem. And we get this set of clubs. I believe they're PXGs. They were PXGs, and he's going up in weight. He's going up in weight in that he went from an 80-gram MMT, which I didn't even know they made, to a 95 and a 105. And the 105s were for the lower irons, and the 95s were for the higher set that you saw. Now, the real trick here is that these were used iron shafts. So the direction that was given was tip an inch off of all the tips and put them in there. Now, that's easy enough to say. Sometimes it's a little harder to do, in that when you get down to the bottom end and you're tipping off all that extra, sometimes you don't have that amount to take off in order for it to go into the hosel the right way, so that it plays the way that it's supposed to. And we had to take great care in that one. And then once we did, we had to, in some cases, we tip trimmed just a little, and then in some cases we tip trimmed about 3/4 of an inch. Now, the interesting part about these clubs, and I hope he's listening because he's also another listener. Another thing about these clubs is that they were a little bit heavier than the norm and the tip, and I couldn't figure out why until I went to, I seat the grip, and all of a sudden we had a rattle. And what it was is somebody had put in some tungsten / glue into the bottom, and it shook out. So The one where it shook out, he got everything they asked for in loft, length, lie, swing weight, the whole 9 yards. The other ones are a little heavier because they all still had their stuff in it. Now, how come you didn't take it out, Jim? Well, number one, I didn't see it. All right, it was apparently didn't make it all the way down to the bottom, and that was a problem. And so it was probably standing up a little bit further than, say, the rod that would push it or the way that you would get it in there would go. So, but they all came out that way, not too bad. The other one is Peter's clubs. I like the way Peter's clubs turned out. Peter, I did everything. I ran out of a battery. I'm just having a terrible time with technology these last 2 weeks. So the Axiom shafts. So the Axiom shafts come in three different categories: long, medium, and short. And they have their significantly different trim codes than, say, a standard issue shaft, where you would start at 0, half inch, inch and a half, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, maybe even 4. Okay. Now, in Axioms, since there's 3 categories of them, you start at 0, half, 1 inch. That's it. You're done. That's because the tip section on it is not very long. Now, each one of these shaft categories are made in such that to give you different, different flight patterns or different, the different way that the thing balances out, the whole 9 yards. There are 3 distinct different shafts for 3 distinct different results. All right. So in this particular instance, we didn't have to go into the long because it starts at a 2, 3, 4, and I believe 5, 6, and 7 are in the middle, or 6, 7, 8's in the middle. That's what it is. 6, 7, 8's in the middle, and then 9 down is in the short. So we got them all balanced out. And if you notice, I kept them with the little bitty logo down. You can see it right there, the front facing of that. Anyway, the front, there's a logo on both sides. There's one with the name, which I put in the back, and then there's like a little dot to put it in the front to kind of keep it going. It turns out they were pretty close to the way that I wanted them to balance. So we did that. Now, again, I thought, well, I was going to just cone the top of it and fit them in there, because that's yet another unique situation with this iron shaft, in that it tells you to tip trim it, and then you can cone it or taper it in order to fit into a taper tipped hosel. Now, in the number that we use for Peter, it was light and there wasn't a whole lot of meat at the bottom, so I wasn't real comfortable doing that. So I reamed them out. So we got that done, and got them all set up for him and sent him out, and he now has them. So I'm kind of waiting to see what he finds on that one. Okay, so we got that one. So playing better. Why did I pick this one? Well, I went out playing with Bob, and we both, we actually tied, which is kind of unique. Normally he beats the pants off me. And we tied. I shot a 43-42. And it wasn't bad playing per se, but it wasn't, you didn't get a couple of good bounces, that kind of stuff. And I kept wondering what was going on. And he helped me out with a swing. I was like, what is going on with my swing? And he told me, and it was and he was dead solid on. I was leaving all my weight off on my back foot, and it was causing me to pull, and I was hitting a lot of toe shots, and it was very, very uncomfortable. And once I was able to get back up onto my front foot, it was, man, total different game. Now, and I had 3 3-putts, by the way. And of the 3, they kind of went in and circled around. So, it is what it is. But it got to me to thinking that, I wanted to go out again and kind of get this trimmed out, because we're getting ready to go to Myrtle Beach. And so I wasn't able to get out. So I just jumped in the fitting room here, and I said, well, let's see what these irons are supposed to do anyway. I've not tried that out since I put the new shafts and the new grips on. Let's see. So as I did, and this is going to come out later on as I'm doing this, but I recorded some stuff, and so starting with the sand wedge. Normally, I think my sand wedge goes 75. Now I've made it go further, but 75 is what I go looking for. Ended up going 83. Now, for you guys out there, sand wedges are not full swing clubs for me. I don't ever want to have to do that, and so I don't. However, if I have to muscle one, literally I can muscle it to 100. And I don't want to do that because I can get to my next club, which is the gap wedge, and normally my half swing of that is about 100 yards. In this particular case, it was 108. Now, the thing with this one is this is my last full swing club, and the full swing for this is like 120 ish for me. It's 123. Close enough. All right, pitch and wedge, I believe, is my 130 club to 130 to 135 club. Ended up being 125, but one and a half swing. I got out to 135 with when I was full swinging. So there we go. So it's working out, right? So now I get up into the 9-iron, and I believe it's 145. And I was kind of messing around with a 9-iron. I got it out to 140, just kind of daintily swinging. Got to 147. All right. Now, the cool part about this is, and I could show you, and I probably will next time, is that I'm landing these things on the center line and in a small pattern all the way up to the 9-iron. Life is good, right? Until I hit the 8. I think that's my 165 club. I hit that mark exactly, except for instead of being on there, I started pulling it. My pull's to my right. I started pulling it, and I had 2 in there and then 1 big old pull. So not nearly as good or as efficient as the 9 on down. Now, here's where things really start going south. The 7 and the 6. The 7 should be a 175, 6 should be a 185. Now, the 6 barely, 166, 168. So we'll call it a 167 average. So that's 3/4 of a club short. That's not going to work. And then it was even in a different shape, but it was almost landing right on top of my 8-iron. That doesn't work. And then the 6-iron was even worse. It went out to the highest I could get it to go was 170. So I was missing it. However, what was happening was I got to the end and my swing speed started slowing down. And I believe that has a lot to do with the confidence of it, because I rarely hit the 6-iron and I rarely hit a 7-iron. So if you're going to get better, and this is where we're talking about, if you're going to get better, you got to practice the things that you're not good at, because you're already good at the good stuff. You need to straighten out what you're not very good at, so when you need to call on it, you can, right? And 6s and 7s, those half shots underneath of a tree, or if you're in like of a cluster of crud that you just got to nail one through, that half shot comes in handy. So I got to start practicing that one as well. So you got to just on this one alone, practice the stuff you're not good at, and because you're already good at the good stuff. We'll call that's the idea of the day. Now, can other things do it? Yes, there's plenty of the old school stuff. If you want to really get good at this stuff, it's play, practice, and prepare, right? And not necessarily in that order. And practice, in playing any sport, you have to practice if you want to get better. And golf's no different. So whether you go to the range or you go frequently to the golf course in order to, practice, go out there and say, okay, today I'm going to hit nothing but 7-irons to get around, or something along like that, in order to get your practice in. Now, the other part of this practice, it has to do with, or preparation. Preparation means lessons, if you need them, right? Not necessarily you have to have a lesson, but and in this preparation, lessons and fittings. Now, if you're, maybe it's the equipment causing you your issues, or maybe it's a swing causing you issues, and something, quick trips to figure that part out. Then the rest of it is play. Have some fun. Go out and play. So that's what's going to be going on. We're going to take this a little bit further. So after this, On Mondays, I'm not going to hit because I hit yesterday. And then I'm going to hit, try and get better at this before we leave so that I can give Bob a better game. And we're going to be playing with Peter at one of the golf courses. So I don't want to embarrass myself there either. Okay. So that was it. That wasn't too bad. Not too long, not too far. The last bit, and I know I'm going to open this thing up when I say it. But I was listening to XM radio on the way in, and it looks like Koepka unplayed his way out. And what I mean by that is because he's a live golfer and he only played in the championships, the ones that didn't require him to be a PGA member. Eventually, attrition just got him, and he's out. So now the media people will be abuzz at, do we need to pick him? Do we not? And before you ask me, my answer is not. And it's not that I don't like him, and I don't think that he's a terrible golfer. Contrary, however, I'm a very much a rules-oriented guy, and this Ryder Cup thing is PGA versus European Tour. Now they say, "Oh no, it's just the Americans against this." No, it's not. It's about Liv wasn't around when they first established this. Now going forward, if they want to include that, that's fine, but that's not the rules right now. So for him to be included in this particular issue, sorry, playing 2 tournaments within the league, although they were quite important, don't get me wrong, or 3, sorry, doesn't, in my view, qualify him. It doesn't mean I think he's a bad golfer by any shape of the imaginations. I mean, he won one major. I mean, come on, and placed very well on another. So, however, there's other things to consider. So, just for the sake of argument, there you go. All righty, let's go in there and let's start talking. Oh, by the way, Mrs. McGolf, if she hasn't gotten in here, she's attending a birthday party, so she may run in here and then turn around and leave. All right. Camilio, what do you say, sir? Hello from down under. Well, good morning to you. Thank you for joining us. Matt shot a 35 in a nice 9-hole round with the wife. Oh, I bet she was enjoying that. She made fun of my short swing. Well, when you're shooting a 35, I don't think anybody can make fun of you. How are the Jumbo Max treating my game? Well, Jumbo Max, right? I got the ultralight smalls, and I think I have a little bit more control than I did before. However, I still haven't got to that full-on trust value, because what's happening is that I will start like this, and I will have a nice even pressure going on. And then somewhere in that swing, my left hand, which is my backhand, either starts gripping really hard or something, but I find my left hand getting tired when I swing, because in that testing, I hit about 50 golf balls, and albeit, right in a row, but, I felt it like right here, and not and a little bit back here. And I think a lot of it's because I'm not used to holding a grip that's that large, and it's using different golf muscles. But outside of that, I mean, even when I was hitting it poorly, I was still getting it straight. So there is something to be said about that. All righty, Camilio, just curious about how cutting a shaft from the tip, 3-wood, 5-wood, affects its hardness. The idea that it jumps from a regular to a stiff, is that a bit of a myth? Yes and no. Now, if you were to take let's just say if you were to take a 3-wood shaft and nibble it down a little bit and put a 5-wood head on it, the flex is not going to change. And that's because, and I came prepared this time around, if you go from, and let's just say this is a 3-wood, and then this is a 5-wood, the 3-wood weighs somewhere around, we'll say, anywhere from 208 to 215 in the gram, sometimes a little heavier. Where the 5 wood is going to start around 220, maybe go 225-ish. So when you tip this club a little bit extra, or the shaft a little bit extra, what you're doing is that you're making up for the additional weight from the 5 wood in order to maintain the same flex. Now, that's what you're talking about there. Now, if you take it and you tip this same shaft and you put that 3 wood back in it, and then you're going to cut it down to the same length, yeah, it's going to get a little stiffer. And that can happen as well. So it depends on what the application is, Camilio. All righty. There's Scotty. Our son has been selected for advancement to E7. Chief, hoorah. Well done. Tell your son thank you. Waiting on when his pinning is day to be. First estimate is 28th, 29th September. Could you do a fitting around the 30th, 31st? We'll have to talk with Mrs. McGolf on that one. But very cool for him. Well done. Well done, Chief. Good job. I like that one. That takes a bit of knowledge and a bit of connection and a bit of smarts. So he's a well-rounded individual. There's Rob Owen. Mrs. McGolf, she's celebrating a 65th B-Day down the road. And there we go. All righty. Our D9 hybrid's bendable. A little teeny weeny bit. I wouldn't count on it, but to an extent. And there's very few people that are going to be able to do it. All right. So, as much as you're looking to, if we made them that much shorter, that could be problematic. Although, if we ordered it maybe pre-bent, that could be an issue. Mr. Anderson, how are you, sir? Thank you for staying up so late. Looks like the graphite adventure has been decided. The Aerotech Steel Fiber 70. All right. Nicely done. Glad you came up with one that you liked. TJ says, hi, everybody. Hello there, sir. Brendan, what's the difference between a steel fiber 110 and 110 constant weight shaft? Apparently, the 110s are parallel tip and don't fit Srixon heads, and the CWs are taper fit. Okay. Typically, so Brendan, typically when you see stuff that is constant weight, that means that, you'll have a shaft, and let's say the 5 iron will be 38.5 inches long, just to put a number out there. And then the 7 or the 6 will be 38, and the next one will be 37.5, and then 37, 36.5, until you get down to the bottom, whatever that number might be. And when they mean constant weight, that each individual shaft weighs the same at those discrete lengths. Okay. Now, 99 times out of 100 with graphite, that means that if it's the same amount of weight for a shorter length, that the thing's going to play a little stiffer at the bottom. I got to move here. There we go. It's going to play a little stiffer at the bottom just because there's more stuff in a smaller package. Okay. Now, the steel fibers, when they show up, they will all be the same length, of which you're going to have to trim to get to a particular flex. Now, depending on who puts these together, Brendan, the ZX heads, yes, they're very much taper tipped. Here we run into that quite a bit, and all I do is ream out the head. Now, just like we did for Peter, those particular shafts come 370, although I can cone them, but in this case I didn't, and you just ream them and you put them in there. And actually reaming the Srixons really isn't that hard, because the metal is extraordinarily soft. It's a very good club. So if you need to do something, let me know. PZ, golf peeps, golf is simple, but it ain't easy as it looks. Yes, we have. Thank you. Then there's more in there. What I don't show you guys is all the repairs I do, the one-offs where, like when I get done here, I got to fix a couple of wedges, bend a putter. It's that just, real quick, put a grip on. It's that kind of stuff. I just show you the builds so that we can keep things interesting and short. All righty. There's Krister. How you doing, sir? I saw you practicing on the mat again. Good for you. Today played a practice round from the white tees, 6,000, almost 6,100. Oh, meters. That's right. So 6,700. Well, yeah. Shot an 86 over on the front after a beer and a grilled sandwich. So does that mean you're going to start off with a beer and a grilled sandwich off the front nine? Good for you. That's called knocking off rust, Krister. Good for you. Hopefully you do well. John Cherry, how are you, sir? What are your thoughts on specific wedge shafts? How do they differ from other graphite shafts, and do they make a difference? I like them. I like shafts that are designed for a purpose. Okay. Now the wedge head. I got one. This, pardon me. This is designed differently than that. Okay, two different clubs altogether. And this is a full swing club. Like I said before, I don't believe that this is. This at the very bottom of the set may run about 285, 290 tops, where this bases at 300 and just goes up. So it's already heavier. The things that you're going to do with this particular club are way different than what you're going to do with the other club. And those shafts are manufactured or made to be able to withstand those things that you're going to do. Hitting out of the sand, hitting out of the rough, hitting partial shots, right? So in some cases, what you hear is you like to see them be a little more flexible, sometimes not. It depends on the golfer, right? It depends on you. If you're an aggressive wedge player, maybe you don't want it softer. If you're more of a finesse player and you're kind of, artistic it around, right? That might be oh my gosh, I got itch. It might be the way to go. So the shaft is really reliant on that. Now, most wedge shafts, I'll say most wedge shafts were kind of a tailored after the spinner. And the spinner, as we all know, is you basically, if you were running let's say 100-gram S-Flex shaft, that you went and got like a 105, or you got that same 100 gram shaft, but you got an X-Flex, trimmed it only to an 8-iron spec, and then put it in there. So what did that do? That gave you a tighter dispersion with a higher kick point. And that's kind of what these things are doing. And but again, not all wedge shafts, much like not all other shafts, are created equal. There are some that, and I'm looking at some, Project X has got, they're not graphite, but they are wedge shafts that they put out. We have the Acras, come in several weights. They have the BGT, which is a totally different wedge shaft. And Nippon has theirs. And again, the KBS has some in their lot. So Catalyst has some that are offerings in the Callaway lineup. So it all just depends on your make sure you get the right shaft. But yeah, I do like them. Space Ghost Perps. Okay. Does a 6-degree wedge need to be in every bag, or will 56 get it done? Personally, no, it does not need to be in every bag. Around here, where I'm at, I'm in the bottom of the Appalachian Mountains, where clay is prevalent, and most every green, it goes fairway green. So there's a big skirt around the green. Okay. And the grass can get pretty gnarly around here. And in that particular instance, and we do have some stuff in the way. If you have a lot of, there are a lot of, we'll call them landmarks or things to get in the way of getting to the green. He's got to pop them up and over. Then yeah, the 60 has its purpose. Now, I've had people get a 56 and wield that thing like nobody's business. And no, they did not need a 60. Now, and the other part is normally I only recommend it if it's a confidence thing. Some people will get a 60 and they will find themselves sliding completely underneath of it and popping up, make it going 2 inches, and nobody likes that. And just the opposite in the schedule, where they will hit it and they will blade it and send it screaming across the green, and nobody likes that one either, all because of a confidence level. Now, why is that? Because you've probably picked the wrong wedge, right? In a lot of cases, the 60 degree comes with a lower bounce number and sometimes a wider sole if you stay in the same path, right? For instance, again, if we were to take this one, this is a mid with a 10. That's a fairly decent sole. And you can see that there's a heel and toe relief here. Now in the 60, what'll happen is that you'll get more loft and it'll expose more sole. You see how you can see more here? That will happen, and what they'll do is they will take the sole and they'll make the bounce less because effectively it's the same with that wide. However, if you're a slider and not a digger, then that's going to work against you. And you might need a narrower sole with maybe a higher bounce in order for the club to work. So there's a couple of things to be in there. But to answer the question completely on the first time, do you have to have it in the bag? No. Okay. No, Camilio. All righty. TJ, what kind of golfer swing would you fit in MMT shafts? I had a PXG fitting recently, and they fit me into a 70R, but I wasn't hitting it very well that day, so I am not sold. I don't swing very fast. The MMT, so TJ, the MMT is a Mitsubishi shaft, and personally, my opinion is it's a little bit firmer shaft than most. This Axiom is in that same category, but honestly, I think the Axiom feels probably a little bit better when it comes through. Now, at 70 grams in the R, they're all going to be a bit flexible. It's just that it's amount of this going on versus amount of that going on, if that makes any sense. And in the graphite that PXG has, TJ, it might be their stock offering of some variety that they have, and he was just throwing it at you. Now, this latest round of PXGs, I guess they're what, 211s. They're hollow body offerings that they're having. Maybe they're 311s. They're actually kind of nice. They're a little firmer. They got a little bit wider sole on that I like, and they're extraordinarily strong. So it would make you look like you're hitting it further than, say, another competitor's comparable iron. So you got to be careful there, because the last group I had in here, we have some folks that come visit us, big PXG fans, and man, oh man, were they strong. Almost absurdly so. So you've got to be careful there. However, it could be that the 70, if you're not a very fast swinger and you're not very aggressive, it could be that it's just too much shaft. All right. And that if you're a slower, more rhythmic player, you can literally go down in weight and or flex and get some extraordinarily good performance out of it. It doesn't mean you're some kind of sissy. It just means that what it is that you found something that matches the way that you're loading the club. For instance, and I always use, if you had Nick Price, Tiger Woods, and Ernie Els on the range, they all swing in that same kind of category, but Nick Price is Zorro with a golf club. This guy he's just torquing on the way back, torquing on the way down. Where Tiger Woods, we would call the atypical golfer, particularly now. Nice rhythmic back, pulls down hard, swings through on an acceleration, where Ernie Els is Tai Chi on golf. He's just this syrupy smooth. There you go. So in order to get into this, Nick Price probably likes something a little bit heavier and a little bit more stiff in order for that club to stay with him. Where let's just say Tiger Woods is the guy that whatever those numbers come out to be would fit him best. And then Ernie Els would probably like something a little bit lighter and quite possibly even more flexible. So that's how that matches up. All righty. And he put the Crank Pro. Okay. So how'd that work? You said you were going to go test it out. I was wondering if that was better than the last offering. All righty. Golf Nut from Feely, England? Or Filey, England. Well, thank you for staying up late again. Come out and talk to us. All right. Love the pictures of the 17th on the old course, I presume. Oh, this guy right up here? Yeah. Yeah, that's the 18th. And if I can see it correctly. Yep. So if we go right there is the Russicks, and that's where we stayed for our anniversary. We stayed right there, and I got to watch them out early in the morning in unison cutting the greens. I mean, it was just really kind of cool. And then, you know about old Tom standing right there. I got him colored up. All right. All righty. Robbie, Type R Golf. Oh, okay. It's been a while, Bubby. Hey, Mr. Missing Golf. Been a while. Life's busy. Hope you're doing well. Nasty, hot, and humid here in Auburn. Stay cool. Well, it turned hot here too, man. It got to 96, and with the humidity, it's well above the 100 mark. And it went, in the last 4 or 5 days, you get up at 65, you get home, it's 85. I mean, it's just absolutely perfect. And now we're paying for it. We are paying for it. All righty. JP, how are you, sir? Yes, we're doing very good. There he is. There's that Mr. Nick. How you doing, buddy? 154, man. 154. John Lamb. Smoky Calgary. Still, really? I thought that'd been done by now. We're seeing when he's talking about Smoky Calgary, Washington State had it, Maui had it. So this is becoming a thing. I hope we can get it settled in. Okay. On the U505, ended up I had an old Matrix Altus Red shaft kicking around. Threw it in a 9, had to remount the head, and it's working out very nice. Well, good. Like that. The U505, the U505, that's a submarine. Oh, that's pretty good. Well, very good. I'm like it's working out for you. Very cool. All righty. Dognut, what are your thoughts on arm lock putters? Have a chance to get custom fit for my Cure RX3. Cure from yours to convert it so that the shaft has lean face loft. So the arm lock putters, like anything else, arm lock putters have their place, right? They all, just like the claw grip or the pencil grip or the inverted grip or whatever grip that you think works for you. Do I think that it provides you any extra in the putting realm as far as arm locking goes? Pardon me. Well, if you're truly arm locking, that means that shaft, if it's normally sitting like this, has to get this massive lean going forward. And what happens is it runs up the length of your arm, below the elbow, by the way, length of your arm, and and as you sit there, since you're going to be here like this, you got that angle that you've got to get with, and then that front arm is just pulling through, and this one is holding on, and and providing a level of stability or a piston-like deal. Does it have merit? Yeah, it has merit. The real question is if you get it done, are you going to stay with it? Because 99 times out of 100, what'll happen is every golfer will try something new as long as it works. And the minute it stops working, that doubt creeps in. When that doubt creeps in, then you stop thinking of how do I keep doing this well, and start kind of venturing into, well, it looks like I'm gonna have to go get it bent back and do all these other things. That's a problem. So if you have the fortitude to go through the valleys as well as the peaks in this putting that you're going to go through, then I would say, yeah, try it out. If you're going to have issues with it, I'd say at least go try it out if you have a chance to get fit for it, and see what happens, because you very well may find out, wow, this is super duper comfortable. You also may find out, man, this is the worst idea ever, and I'm glad I'm figuring it out now. So, yeah, I would go down that route. Kent, what's going on, sir? Haven't seen you for a while. Clearly, I need to practice the 8-iron, then that little devil. Well, I'm with you, man. I am absolutely with you. You know, I there was a time where I was hitting that thing 170 and not even swinging hard, and age and weight gets on me, and next thing you know, I can't get it there now. So now the other part is I went back to an old Mizuno with a smaller grip just to see if, well, was it me or is it the grip or what is it? And I took and it was a 6-iron, and I was like, good night. I got to get this 6-iron out here a little bit better. And I took it with a regular grip, and I threw through there, and it felt like I was swinging a pencil. But the very first swing I made, I just swatted that thing about 175. Well, I thought, well, there it is, until I hit two more, and they didn't go any further than all the rest. So was the first one an error, or was I trying too hard? That's the part I got to get over. But you are correct, sir. I do need to check that out. David DeFio from Jersey. All right. Thanks for joining us, bud. Past my prime. Steamy Central Illinois. Too hot to be outside. I figure check in. Well, welcome. Welcome back. I changed it around. The window is very clear outside. I mean, it's very, very nice. But I've got a piece of conduit hanging down, so I didn't think you guys needed to really want to watch all the ugliness I had going on. And this is a good little change up. I've got this, and if you can see just right up there, there's a Norman Rockwell from the golf, and then that's a certificate from the Congress of Ohio congratulating me too. So nice. Uh-oh, these two know each other. There he is. How are you, sir? No, I still haven't got the apexes. They were supposed to be here days ago, and we still don't have them. I'm thinking that Wednesday is the time. All right. Why is it when not hitting it well, the short game is on, and when you hit it good, you can't putt? Yeah, no kidding, right? Isn't that always the truth of it all? And then you wonder how those guys on TV, they're doing it all. It's because they're having their day at it, is what's going on. All righty. Jason, how are you, sir? Have you tried the straight 8? No, I have not. I'm using the smalls, and they're working well. The lack of taper helped me equalize the pressure. And, I would agree with that. These guys are just so big. I didn't see that there was too much, because when I'm holding on to it, I'm right at where the taper begins. So I didn't think that was going to be a big deal. But I do understand what you're saying about the straight 8, though. I would agree, because I do like a less tapered grip. All right. Hey there, Robin. Thought you forgotten me. Nah, she's basically at the pool talking with all the women. Al Burnett from the Space Coast. How are you, sir? Scotty, what if any of the graphite iron shafts would be better than the KBS 105s I'm using now? I don't know. Uh, if you're using the KBS Tour 105s, another one that could work, and if you wanted to go lighter, I would check with the PGI 95s from KBS in graphite. That is a very, very nice shaft. I would look at that one. Now, they have the TGIs in the 95, and they were supposedly a model of the tour shafts. I find that hard to swallow. Probably more like the C tapers, and they were getting there. So you could try that one. Anything in the 95 range, I think you'd be fine. All righty, Brent Wearing, how you doing, buddy? Hope all is well. Best 2 nuggets of advice about starting out club building on the side. Feels confident in my abilities with the right equipment. Thanks and God bless. Well, best 2 nuggets of advice. Okay. Number one, and anybody that works with their hands, works with tools, is going to be putting out a product that is going to go to somebody else, is buy a tool, buy it once. Okay, buy a tool, buy it once. The last thing you want to do is cheap out and find yourself wondering why you can't make something very well when it's the tool holding you back, much like in a golf club. Okay, that's what we did. Now, I will say there are times when you have to do that, but the minute that you can get away from it, it's time to go. And then what do I mean by that? Well, you're going to have the ability to cut shafts, the ability to finish ferrules, the ability to, abrade tips, the ability to resurface some clubs if necessary. Sometimes you may find yourself drilling out things. There's just all kinds of and again, it depends on what you're trying to do. But what I had for the longest while is I had a chop saw, and my chop saw was this just cheap chop saw, and it was the whole thing was aluminum, and every once in a while I would get this would happen, and the line would float, and I missed a cut once, and that was it. It went out into the trash, and if Mr. McGolf knows anything, that when that kind of stuff happens, it normally gets thrown. And I just had enough of it. And so I went and I ended up buying a stationary one, and I controlled the shaft going into it. Now, are there other options out there? Could I have bought a better chop saw? Yes. And in some cases, maybe I should have. But what I was looking also for was dust control. And this thing had what I cut with had all the things I needed at the time. Now, there are other options out there, like the old tile saws that now have the abrasive tip on it, which have a water basin. That's okay. And there's some other ones out there which you can have downdrafts on so that you keep the dust away from you. Something like that. The other side of this is the drill press. I had a very, very inexpensive drill press, but I wasn't drilling very much. And then all of a sudden, the business turned, and I was doing quite a bit of it, and I wore this thing out in no time flat. Since that time frame, I bought one, and that's the one I'm using now. And the only thing I've ever done is change a belt, and that's all I'm doing. And we'll keep doing it from there. So buy one tool, or buy a tool, buy it once. That's number one. And then before you buy that tool, and here's the second nugget: before you go to buy that tool, know what it is that you want to do. And what I mean by that is, when you first get started, you obviously can't do it all. So pick what it is that you want to do, i.e., maybe you want to start with regripping clubs, or maybe you want to get into just reshafting, or maybe you want to just do loft and lie adjustments, those kinds of things. Those are 3 very large areas in which to choose from. Pick whatever one of those are and get very good at it, and with the tool that you need. So if you're going to do loft and lies, get a good loft and lie machine. If you're going to do the reshafting, get a good puller. If you're going to do gripping, then you're going to want a good vise and a way to take them off and put them on. There you go. Any follow up to the last? Yes, David. So it's still in the bag, right? It's still in the bag. It's still doing very, very well. My speed control. I took 2 weeks off, and you would have thought I hadn't played golf in almost a millennia. But I got it back, and the putt started dropping. I still hit it very well, and it's in my bag right now, right? Oh, and by the way, if you would like, subscribe, hit that stuff across the bottom, and that way more of this information gets out to the rest of the YouTube universe. One of these days, I'd like to get it to where we get over 1,000 views on this thing. I got close a couple of times, but so far not so much in the past. Now, tomorrow I actually do have a video, and it is a what's in my bag. So, and it's because I got a new bag. So you might want to watch that one. It turned out to be pretty good. All righty. There's Jack from Lombard. What do you say, sir? John, to expand on wedge shafts, would that hold true for single length irons? What I play? Did you hear you say I'll be in Myrtle Beach, but not at the World Am. No. Unless it's in the first week of September, then yeah, quite possibly. When you're talking about wedge shafts and single length, that's a different animal because now all the heads are the same weight, right? And it's just a matter of, and they're all going to be the same lie angle, and they're all going to be the same. It's all the same. And with that particular thought, here's the idea of single length is one swing, eight different distances. Pardon me. One swing, eight different distances. So if that is the case, then you could go with just a regular shaft in those wedges and maybe trim it maybe just a skosh more and for a little bit of control or a little bit of height or whatever you want to do with it, and you'd just be fine. Will, how are you, sir? From the UK. Thank you for staying up so late. The Modus 105 shafts are more accurate than the other shafts out there. Is that a thing of a more accurate shafts? Well, to an extent, Will, the Modus 105, I actually do like the 105 shaft. I've got the black ones in my Mizunos from a previous set. Very, very nice. And what you've probably stumbled onto is a weight profile ratio that works for you. Because if you went and took the 120s, they're a different profile, of course, a different weight. And if you took them and they were the same flex, you would hit them differently. Now it's because of the way that it kicks through and the weight of the shaft, that kind of thing. And then you go to the other side using Nippon or Nippon, as the case may be. If you go to the 95s are a significantly different profile, and we give you a significantly different feel and a significantly different performance. So for you, what you're saying is that you found a really nice shaft that you like, and you could probably use it for some time, and I would. Q Golf, okay. Out of curiosity, would love to hear your thoughts on what we're doing here at Q Golf. Well, I've not seen Q Golf, so I can't answer you. So it looks like I might have to go look. And Q Golf, I don't know. I'll have to go look later, and we'll maybe come back next time around, and we'll see, and we'll talk about it, and we'll see about what it's doing. There we go. One club you can. Oh, the adjustable club. Okay. Yep, I remember seeing this. I think I saw this at the PGA show. I don't know. I'd have to see it, man. If you that would be interesting, I have to say. That would be interesting. If you want me to, I wouldn't mind testing that, but I'm a lefty, so if you guys are making them left-handed, let me know. All righty, Krister. I hit the crank driver with better than the Washans. Okay, with more consistent with the crank driver, I swing with confidence. Okay, very cool. Very cool. Jeff Mayer, we're getting smoked out here in Spokane. 460. Dude, that's go inside and don't come out kind of numbers right there. And I hope you guys, I mean, Jeff, I hope you're not impacted to be sure. I hope nobody gets hurt in that kind of stuff. Nobody likes that. And I hope you get through it. As somebody who lived in Bremerton for a while, although nowhere near Spokane, but very cool. But I did like Washington. All right. I can work the driver both ways. Well, if you got something you're working on a drive, bud, it looks like you got yourself a club that might stay in the bag for more than a year. Mr. Moody, how are you, sir? My irons are D2 is normal, that my wedges are D5s, Hot Metal Pros, T22s, and wedges. So yeah, typically if you're talking about stock stuff, the T22s are going to be a little heavier than the Hot Metal Pros in that D2 is a good normal for the Mizunos. The D5 is a little high, but around a D3, D4, yeah, it's not too bad. So swing weight, I wouldn't get too worked up about that. It means the assembler may have used a little bit too much glue, put it in the hosel, that kind of thing. But yeah, normally they do run about 2 swing weight points higher. That's about it. So you're not too far off. Alrighty, if your long irons are giving you a bit of a problem, try a slight pause at the top of your swing. Help me get my tempo back under control with longer shafts. That's an idea. So I'm a big fan of Mike Malaska, and I was just watching a thing from him yesterday on how to get the swing started, and he called it a preload swing, where, of course, if I'm swinging this way, you start with the club out here, and as you bring it back, and when you get back to here, your body's already set up, and you don't have to go like that. You can get back to your normal spot, and you can swing through and release. What he was saying made all kinds of sense. Now, would you do that normally right your plan? Probably not. But what that does is that, what it is you've seen triggers and swings, much like Sam Snead, where he had that knee kick and it kicked him one way and then he had to go the other. A lot of that kind of stuff. But yeah, that slight pause at the top, we're doing that. All righty. Are we going back to older clubs? I put a V Steel 5 wood in the other day and played the. I cannot tell you how many of those I've reshafted, PZ. Those 975s. Woo wee, especially the J models. Those things are cool. Can you bend the lie angle on a plumber neck putter? Yes. And if so, how much? It would depend on who makes it, Krister. If it's a forged or a milled putter, chances are you can go a lot further. All right, say I'll go with the 4 degrees in either direction. If it's a cast one, probably a little bit less. All right, those V Steels are great. They were pretty solid clubs in the day. James Bolton, how are you, sir? We're seeing a lot of new names this time around. That's awesome. Again, if you guys like and subscribe, I'd appreciate that very, very much. Any possibility Jumbo Max grips might develop a corded grip? I like the size of the grips, however, the texture always feels slick to me. Probably not. The last time I saw them talking about it is that the next. Now, it's not to say they never will, because the next version of this was actually rubber on the outside. Now, if the next version that comes out is rubber on the outside, then the next step after that would be corded. So let's hopefully wait and see what they got with that rubber on the outside. John Timmons, how are you, sir? Thank you for chiming in and from Arizona. All righty, Dennis Hood. Too hot and humid to be out in golf, no doubt. Wilson claims the triad ball has the highest MOI, where most of the weight is moved closer to the cover. Is that hype or truth? They told me the same thing, and I wish I had the box here because I just had a box of them. And so the technology that they're talking about, it can happen. And what they have is two layers. They have their core, and then there's another layer on the outside, and that layer is on the outside. Now you got to take a lot of what golf people tell you with a grain of salt, including Wilson. There's more weight on the outside. Does that mean I always go to extremes when people tell me this, and then I've got to kind of reel myself back in. And that does that mean a lot of weight? Does that mean a half a gram? Does it mean does that mean 20 grams? What does that mean? It just means the golf ball does not weigh any more than the others. All right. Otherwise, it'd be flight problems. So what they've figured out is the density changes for the same durometers, and the outside is a little bit heavier, giving it a higher MOI. Now, I have tested that, and it does seem to do what they say. And I tested against the Wilson staffs. Now, when I tested them, the triad was much more consistent in its landing pattern. It was very, very tight in comparison to the Wilson staff that went like this on a landing pattern. However, the Wilson staff was about 3 yards, maybe 4 yards longer. Now, I've played them in the past. I've taken them, on golf trips just to see, and they hit just as good as anything else. Hey, Jim. Well, what do you say, man? It's been ages. Been a long time. Yes, it has. I'm loving the ZX7s. Good. Although I'm going to have to put them upright a degree, as Japanese brands are generally flatter than USA brands. Yeah, probably, because they have flatter swings. I can see that, yeah, as a whole. They don't like having shorter clubs. All right. But I love them. Got me down to a 9.9. Nice. The 120s are lovely and smooth. Picked up 5 yards without trying. Awesome. There's a lot of love. I'm here to tell you, there's a lot of love going around for those Srixon irons, the ZX7s, ZX5s. Even the 4s work really well, and they look very, very nice. So if it fits in your realm, it's a thing. It's a way to go. All righty. Oh, here we go. New arm lock cure shaft will just bolt in as a shaft. That's design of the putter. Lies yeah, I did know about the adjustable lie. I have Jumbo Max small grips on my clubs. Wedges got normal. That's what I did. I don't know if it's just being lazy or what it is, but I did not change them into, and you would think that would be the one place that you would want to do that on them as they get heavier. Yeah. Well, if you can change the shaft and change it back out just by a bolt on, bolt out, I'd say give it a shot and see what happens. Worst case scenario, you got an arm lock shaft that you can put in use it as a fireplace poker or something. Nick, going to Myrtle Beach. Which course are you going to play? Where we're going to go to Grand Dunes. We're going to, it's a series, I believe it's the Legend courses. And with the Legend courses, there's one with the name of the word shaft is in it, and I don't know the entire length of it. These are going to be more of the more linksish kind of styles, I guess, but more laid out against the water. And that's what we're going to be. But we've got 5 or 6 of them scheduled. Want to try the burner mini driver and take out my 60-degree wedge, but I don't hit it as much. Starting to play tighter courses. Yeah. That would actually probably freak some people out, too, when you pull that bad boy out and throw it off the deck. All right. Andrew K., here's some new one. Have you ever dealt with someone who had a full swing tip that results in a very aggressive reverse pivot? Ah. Yes, I have, as a matter of fact. And normally it's baseball players as a whole, but the real key, the reason, um, what really got me thinking about that is, and the reason why I found Malaska, uh, because he talked about reverse pivots, and I actually took a lesson from him over the video, and I asked him about reverse pivots, and he says they literally don't exist. I'm like, what? What do you mean they don't exist? They exist. He says, nope. If you look at them, because I use baseball analogy because he is an ex-baseballer too, and he says, no. If you look at how from here where it swung here versus swung there, the bat, it's a difference, yes, to an extent, but if you look at the transfer, they're very, very similar. And we had to discuss that one for about 20 minutes before I would buy off on it. And I am making this a very Reader's Digest version of the conversation. Uh, but that's where they go. Now, in order to feel the difference of what it's done, in order to get people off the reverse pivot, at least for me, what I've done is I've asked golfers to put their feet together and swing through it. And you will immediately feel it and understand why you feel the reverse pivot. Now, you're gonna you just don't do it once. You do this about 10 times, and what'll happen is your balance will switch from this to this because this is what needs to happen, right? That's what needs to happen. The other way of doing it, and I don't know if it's 100%, but it can get you where you need to be, is you put like a volleyball or a basketball between your knees and hold on to it. And that way, particularly if you got a balance issue, you can put a basketball between your knees and it forces you to turn. You may not get all the way over there, but it forces you to turn. And you might want to start off, smooth and slower, and then as far as speed goes, and then work your way up to your full swing. Oh, they're not. They're not, Kent. They're not. I think I saw them. Actually, the thing with adjustable iron, this adjustable club, there's like a one over here. One club tournaments were a thing for a while, and it was really quite cool. Where you could say, and the idea of a one club tournament was you brought a club and a putter, and that's what you used to go around in your foursome. So the strategic method would be is one person would bring a driver, one person would bring a mid to tall iron, one person would bring a wedge, another person would bring a putter, and then you got your clubs and you go out as a team and everybody uses these clubs. Then say you had to use just one club that only your people could bring a club. Well, if you bring this, now you brought 7 clubs. And nobody ever said anything about adjustability. Of course, this is a one club tournament, so what kind of rules can exist? Uh, But the thing is with most of those clubs is that they looked extraordinarily clunky. The Q Club doesn't actually looks kind of nice, and it gets through. But you're right though, and the whole other rest of the stuff. All right. Oh, okay, Krister. The putter I consider to be fine, maybe bent Langle. Is the Anser 2D? Is that a forged or a cast putter? Uh, the 2D is probably cast. I don't know. Ping really doesn't invest a whole lot into forged anything, to be honest. You might be able to get, normally their idea here is the lie angle will be somewhere around, 70 as a standard, between 70 and 72 is standard. So it just depends on what you're looking for. Yes, they are. So much love that the assistant pro has ordered the same irons and he was jealous of mine. Very good. Very good indeed. Oh, here we go. Look at here. The one fit. He knew exactly what I was saying. Nick, he knew exactly what I was saying. Oh, that's funny. Uh, yep, there we go. Shaftesbury, that's what it is. You're right. Shaftesbury Glen, Heathland, all those. That's where we got a lot of those. Never played. We've got plenty of trips coming down. We've played the plantation courses. Recommend those highly. We played the TPC twice now, and it's a nice course. Is it all that in a bag of chips? I go play the plantations again, honestly, and just for where we are at, it's a nice challenge. But as far as what it is, where it goes, I like the other ones better. And then of course, you can't the North Myrtle Beach, or the what do they call that one? Kings Kings something or another, has the floating island. That thing is cool, particularly when all the flowers and stuff are in bloom. That's a very, very nice course. I do like those. Those are very, very nice. Blue was very, very nice. Oh, and then the other ones that, if you wanted a real treat and wanted to, your shot making was at a very high caliber. The barefoot courses, we were able to play them all. The other one was kind of a semi-private, and we were able to, because we played the other ones, they gave us a break and let us in on the other one. And I'm here to tell you, man, you had to have your shot making game on. Otherwise, you had better bring some golf balls, because there was a lot of places to lose them there. All righty. Yep. Yep. Well, thank you. I hope so. 53. There it is. Andrew K. Yep. Oh, good. Yeah, and he's a little bit of a different cat, but the way he explains things, it's not too bad. If he can, Mike get out of his own way of explaining what was bad in the day. Although some of the things he uses, the explanation is more of an evolution of the golf swing. He's very, very understandable, and that's very, very good. Oh wow. Jason, just kept my CP2 jumbo grips on my wedges too. I was worried about changing my touch. All right, very cool. John played Grand Dunes yesterday. Great shape. I work as a greenskeeper at Myrtle Beach National. That's the one I was talking about, John. I like that one. That one when all the flowers are going. I've played there twice, and the funny part is the second time I had my son with me, and it was funny with all these movies that are going on. We played with a guy from the Manhattan Project, and with my background in nuclear power, he was like, he goes, oh yeah, Manhattan Project, yeah, you know. And I started talking nuclear stuff with him. He's like, ooh, you do know a little bit of something. And I was like, just barely, and nothing like you guys did. And it was fun to talk to him. And there's some of the things we discussed were, we'll just say, enlightening. It was a lot of fun. It's amazing the people that you meet out on a golf course. It just, yeah, it's just classic. Some of the folks that you meet. All righty. Our pro has just done a 60K fitting room with TrackMan, and he's stockpiling Wilson Ping, nearest place an hour away, which is American Golf, which is a bit like a PGA Tour superstore. Well, I tell you what, if the TrackMan is cool as long as he knows how to use it, and where you're going. And hey, can't go wrong with Wilson, can't go wrong with TaylorMade, can't go wrong with Ping. I did not hear any reasons why. I do not know. I only have speculation, but I really don't know. There was a time there where they were, their grips were as good as anybody's out there, and then all of a sudden their prices, they jumped about 3 times out of just overnight. And the sticker shock may have really hurt some folks, but that's just purely guessing. Willowbrook. All right. Look, here's a poker. Yeah. There you go. Plus or for it. Well, there you go. That's with somebody that knows what they're doing, Krister. So find somebody, that fellow that you got that is doing those fittings. He appears to know what the heck he's doing, so he should be able to hook you up. Oh, that'd be cool. I thought you were going to tell her you're going to pop out and see what kind of music she was going to pick. Man, look at that. Better get the shaft. Oh, really? Is it that fast? That'll be kind of interesting. Yeah, I wasn't that one. Here's the new WV worth a test, or UW. Uh Again, any good golf answer in this one, particularly when I'm talking to a guy that's about 2,000 miles away, maybe more. Depends. Although, do I think it's nice? I do. From all I've seen is pictures, so I can't tell you anything about a performance on it. If all the things are there, if you're looking for an alternative to a 5 wood in that area, or even the 4 hybrid, you're just kind of struggling one way or to another, this would be that answer. Heritage. Yes, that's exactly where it's at. Jerry Wilson from Louisiana. How are you, sir? Thank you for joining us. Yeah, I did like True Blue. Caledonia, we played it. I just don't remember much of it. Only played it once. The Love, but not sure what you like best. Well, there's Love. Was it Love, Norman, and then the other one was the Course Designer. And I really like the last one, to be honest with you. RSG, greetings. 89% humidity from St. Louis. What are your Ryder Cup picks? You got there's tried and trues, and then there's people that have earned their way on. I think did Glover earn his way on? If he hasn't, I would pick him in an instant. I think he's on a hot streak. I don't think he's going to come off of it anytime soon. Who else? I'd have to look at the next set, but I'm trying to recover who was on. Who is up and coming? Let's say Lucas. I'm looking at in the next. So you get 6 picks. I would go down to about number 10. The next 10 picks, and what I would do is I would look for the hottest hands and pick them. Now, the only other overriding factor is if they weren't a team player, and who knows other than those people that they're working with over there. Outside of that, that's how I would do it. So the hot hands would work, and team camaraderie. Unfortunately, JT, he's huge on team camaraderie, but he don't get into that number. So unfortunately, he wouldn't be it. Ricky would be another one. I think he was close. I think. I'm just having trouble visualizing the next set of folks. You would love our links, Bude North Cornwall. I like Pooey. I like a links course. I'm a weirdo over here. I like those. I like how you have to play. You have to golf your ball, right? You have to, and I've been in Heather before, and I've been in the Nettles, and man, none of it's fun, but that's golf, and uh, and being in, if nothing else, playing over there has taught me to trust when you feel wind that it's over here you don't get a lot of that, particularly in the northern areas, where you get wind in your face, And, normally a 7-iron, you got to pull out a 5 in order to go, or even more, right? And to go there. A couple of brutal days over there, and it wears you in, and all of a sudden your trust factor is high. Since my last trip over there, not a problem. They go, "Oh, it's a 2 club win." I said, "Nope, it's 3. Grab the next club up and have at it." And normally it works out well. Legends course at the Marine Base on Paris Island is a great course. Need your DoD pass to enter. Yeah, I've been on a couple of those on the Norfolk and the Norfolk, Virginia side. There was a couple over there that were actually pretty nice courses. I was just a budding golfer at the time, so I had no idea what I was playing on. Jonathan Weaver, you should open up your golf trip to your audience, make it a gathering. Well, you know what? Maybe we'll do that and going down there. That would be kind of fun. So Monday is that we're going to be down there will be Labor Day. So we're still trying to vie whether or not we want to do that. I'm kind of leaning towards yes, because we'll have played with Peter. We'll have a whole lot to talk about. It'll be a lot of fun. Yes. Legends in Texas was fun. Yeah. The pictures, no doubt. Nick's wife was one of those folks that in Myrtle Beach that, this young lady would come out and go, "Oh, wouldn't it be nice for you to get your picture taken while you're on vacation or whatever?" And so if you ever ran into one of those, chances are one of those was her. And she is nice as the day is long, but that's funny. He always liked Long Bay and the Black Bear and North Myrtle. I played Long Bay. I've never played Black Bear though. Oh yeah. Oh, Matt's on. Aloha, Matt. How are you doing, buddy? You're not. I don't know where you're at, but hopefully you're outside all that fire nonsense. Hopefully you're doing well. All right. Do I think that gay people are better at golf? No. I think they can be as good as anybody at golf. That was kind of a silly question. All right, I'm with you, Jim. Links courses are fun. At least the U.S. links courses. The Thistle in North Myrtle is a good linksy spot. Yep, I played that one. Have you ever ventured to Alabama Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail? Curious as you guys may be talking about Myrtle Beach. There. That's funny that you say that, John. We were down in Gulf Shores, and we were playing at actually it was one of the Florida courses right there on the Florida-Bama line, and we met 2 guys that were just coming down off the trail. This happened to be one of the courses that was out of the way. They could not say enough good stuff about it, and it was they said it was a really, really good time. That would be a nice thing to do. The only drawback to that is when Bob and I go, we normally take the wives, and one of the conditions is that you have to be able to spy some water, i.e., on a beach, an ocean, something along like that lines. And best I can tell, that's not a thing with the Trent Jones courses. So that's probably the reason why. Oh no, we're starting a thing here. Jerry Wilson got a couple links courses near Houston. That was fun. I think, see if of any place on the U.S. that would probably emulate the links style or links vibe would be in the Texas area with all that wind, being flattish. You could put some moguls up and get some of the dunes. Kind of mimic the dunes, but that wind would be just about killer. Good impact, not the fire. He's on the Big Island. That's good. That is very, 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 very good. I'm glad to see that you're doing fine, Bubby. All righty. Uh oh. Ocean City, Maryland is a nice golf destination, excellent courses. And I have to agree, David. Me and Bob went out there not too long ago. It was about 2 trips ago, and we went out there and we went around to all the courses. The one that was the Pirates one, I like that one that was on the water. That one was very, very nice. We met some good people. The course is in great shape, and we played around a lot of there. And we went by Queenstown. Played that one with the My Golf Spy folks. Queenstown is another really nice layout, but the ones when you get to Ocean City, much, much better. All righty. Totally heartbreaking for those people. Print a golf tourney for them. Well, good for you, bud. There's been a lot of love pouring out, so hopefully we can get them back together. Have you tested the AutoFlex? No, I have not, and I'm completely unaware of it, to be honest with you. So I might have to ask about them. Rum Point, that's what it is. Good call, man. Yeah, it was one of my faves. I enjoyed it quite a bit. There was a couple others out there. One that was supposed to have a lighthouse on it, but never did. It was called Lighthouse was in the name, but there was no lighthouse. I like trying to figure out what that was all about. And we played with a couple from New York. That was very fun as well. Again, it's all in the people that you meet. It was really, really cool. All righty. 3 over last time I played. Why is that? That's because you're awesome, Matt. You got that talent. CH Baseball, what do you think Cleveland Launcher XL irons and how does 8-gram counterbalance affect the swing weight? I did see the new irons. And they're very, very clean. The Launcher XI irons, there's the Launcher irons, there's one that's more of a hybrid model, and then there's one that's more of a regular iron model. The regular iron model, I can get behind that one. The 8-gram is it certainly is going to make the club feel lighter, but it's putting it behind your hand so that it steadies you out. So it might have some positive results for you. Yep. There you go. We'll have to see, because they really like that AutoFlex driver. At least, what's his name? The lefty really, 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 really liked it. All righty, we made it to the bottom. How about that for a whole bunch of stuff? So, guys and gals, if you would, again, I'll remind you, please like and subscribe. If you would, tell your friends. Let's get this word out. I'd like to see us get over about 1,000 views. Do not forget that tomorrow we have a video of what's in my bag. We get to talk about a new bag. And see us again next Monday. We'll talk more about how we got better at golf and all the other builds and any other questions you guys might have. Again, thank you. It's from around the world. That is nothing short of awesome. And I really appreciate the fact that you guys tune in and that you're asking me these golf questions. And as always, let's see your scores go low.